What is an IUL? An IUL is an indexed universal life insurance contract that is provided from an insurance company. What you do is in exchange for money, they give you a contract that guarantees money. So here we have John. John is 35 years of age in this scenario. John wants to get an IUL because he saw it all over social media and he thought it would make the most sense. So John makes pretty decent income, okay? Let's say he makes 120 grand per year. He takes 10% of it, he takes $1,000 per month, which equates to 12 grand per year, and he gives it to an insurance company. This insurance company that's been in business for over 170 years or something is going to allocate a small percentage of those $1,000 to a death benefit, okay? So John's like, hey, here's this. They give him a contract. A small percentage of that contribution goes to this death benefit that will guarantee that, hey, if you die, John, we'll take care of your family. We'll give them this money. It'll be completely tax-free. If you get sick, stroke, heart attack, cancer, brain aneurysm, Alzheimer's, anything like that, we'll also let you accelerate that death benefit to help pay medical expenses or personal expenses to prolong your life and help you beat the cancer, right? This all occurs for a small fraction of your $1,000 that goes to this. But the other remaining is typically about 90%, 10% this way, 90% this way. The remaining, we're just gonna say $900, goes towards an accumulation account. This is an account in the contract that we link to the S&P 500 most of the time. S&P 500 top 500 companies, right? Everybody knows what it is. Average of 6 to 8% per year returns in the S&P 500. This account is guaranteed to participate in market performance without risk to market losses. So if the S&P 500 goes up that year, John will be credited respective insurance crediting interest for the performance of the account based off his contract. If the market goes negative, John's account doesn't lose money. He doesn't lose money in his accumulation account. It only goes up in value. It does not go down in value because it's not exposed to losses. Kind of like a savings account, kind of like a bond, right? Kind of like a treasury bill, right? So if you want to hedge against risk, this is a great tool for that. So here he's averaging 6 to 8% per year. In 30 years, he's projected to have $1 million in this account. So John put in $12,000 a year. For 30 years, which would have been $360,000, he's projected to have about $1 million. So he tripled his money over the course of life, but from day one, he was always protected. And on average, around year 5, when this whole scenario is structured properly, I'm gonna stress that, while you may not know what properly means, for the goals that he wants, there's a certain tax codes that have to be followed to make sure that this is max funded. He gets the most in his accumulation account, he gets the least in his death benefit account, and that this operates in how we want it to. His break-even point is typically 5 years. And in 5 years, he would have put in 60,000. John probably has 60,000 in that account. And if he needs access to that 60,000, John has access to 60 grand. So he hasn't lost money. At first, he's losing a little money to buy insurance, but eventually that account value, the interest is starting to grow, and that interest is paying for the cost of insurance, right? So at year 5 and beyond, he's usually cash flowing at a positive rate of return. His internal rate of return at about year 5 is now shifted from the negative to a positive, and he's now printing money essentially for free. It's like a savings account on steroids. Instead of getting 0.01%, John's getting 6 to 8% in his account. He's getting access to it tax-free. And then when he passes away, he's going to leave a ton of money. And if he has $1 million in here in 30 years at his 7% draw rate, he could pull out about $70,000 per year tax-free in retirement. At a 6%, he pull out 60 grand per year. Tax-free in retirement every single year, as long as the money's in the account. If you want to know how to, if you want to look at one for you specifically, get your numbers ran, you want to sit down with somebody who actually knows what they're doing, I'll personally be taking calls. If you want to click the link in the profile or comment down below or DM me, I'd be happy to sit down with you on a Zoom call, run your numbers, see what makes the most sense for you, and kind of design your plan to see where you could be at for retirement. Look forward to talking to you soon.